Hi everyone, my name is Ravi. Welcome back to another consulting video where we are talking about one of the consulting case problem which has already been taken up in DBA, and I'm going to discuss about that. The title of the today's problem statement is developing the global villa brand. So this problem statement has been taken up in lies in tourism industry domain. It was taken up in year in 2022-2023. It was basically the eighth cohort. So I'm going to go through the case description. I'll try to read and develop an overview understanding of it. I'll try to understand the problem statement of the client. Will try to understand what are their requirements, what are their needs, and what is the vision which they wanted to achieve. And also I'll try to simultaneously think through different aspects of how can we solve the problem and what could be the potential consequences if we go through those solutions. Let's go ahead. So, uh, the case description is a conglomerate within the travel and tourism sector has undergone a significant transformation in past 2 years. Major growth plans for this company involve exploring business opportunities in existing and potential new markets. As part of this exercise, one promising venture was the villa rental market for holidaymakers and real estate owners. The DBA was called in to conduct a feasibility study to implement a new villa company through acquisition and consolidation of selected small players in key market across the globe. So basically, here the client is a conglomerate which is already operating in a tour travel tourism sector, and the conglomerate has seen several significant changes in past 2 years. They wanted to try out different avenues for growth and wanted to explore new markets. And as a part of this exercise, they wanted one of the venture which they are looking forward is to see if they could get into this villa rental market or not. So the idea is there are a lot of villas in Dubai which requires which the real estate owners they have the which the rich people like have the villa, but they but and they are used to rent those villas, or they used to give those villas to some other people, and they operate those villas in behalf of the real owners. And it's kind of an Airbnb setup where the this villa owners operate in. And this conglomerate is looking in kind of similar lines. If there's any business opportunity in this particular area or segment or not. So what we required to do was that we were required to conduct a study and understand the market of this villa concept of how many people who own villa are willing to rent their villa for, when willing to rent their villa as a holiday staying, like that. So it's if I look at it on an overall view, definitely it's a very new it's a very good sector, and it's a very good problem area which we could which definitely needs a very solution, and which needs a solution, and which needs different kind of innovative ideas where we can create value for money. uh, and one another thing, one unique problem regarding this problem statement is it is very UAE Dubai specific problem, because the amount of villas which are there in a very small city like Dubai is very large. Like if you compare it with any other city, metropolitan city across the world, Dubai is far more ahead of them in the list. So this whatever we have to whatever the plan which we need will be keeping forward, or will put forward, it has to be very Dubai centric. Okay, what are the kind of villas which Dubai has? What kind of people? No, the which what kind of customers are there which looks for holiday villa? So the idea is to remain very local in this approach and very local in the solution, and think in a very local scope of Dubai and UAE. So that's number one. uh, uh, I will again try to crystallize the objective. So the objective is the conglomerate wants to establish a global presence in villa rental market by creating a competitive and scalable business through strategic acquisition and consolidation of key players. Also, here I would like to re-say that the objective of the client is definitely to become global, but but the idea is to firstly focus on the Dubai market, become the best players over here, and attract a global audience. But the target is not, but the mandate is not that they wanted to do the same thing in New York or any other city. The idea over here is to stay in Dubai, operate in Dubai, and bring in people from around the world, bring in customers from around the world, attract customers from around the world. So it is global in that sense, not in a global presence, in not in that way that they wanted to have the villa across all the parts of the world. Not like that. So that's the objective. So let's look at the goals which they need to be achieving, pursuing in order to meet this objective. The first is they need to assess the feasibility of entering villa rental market, identify target acquisition opportunities. So very clear. First they need to do is to do a very feasibility testing about about how the market is operating, what is the ground reality, what is the pulse on the ground. And the studies should be very data driven, number driven, but also it should be very much done in a very primary market, kind of very primary market research methodology should be adopted, like talking directly with the villa owners. What are their problems are, what are their objectives, what are their pain points, what are the pains which they feel when they are renting out the villa. And at the same time also talking simultaneously with the customers which are coming and staying in the villa, like what are their pain points, is the price sensitive which is troubling them. So the idea is to talk with as many people as we can as part of our study, and be engaged in the primary market research for this. Uh, Also, I believe this primary market research should be something which should be done in direct supervision of senior executives, because ultimately senior executives are going to be the ones who are going to take the decision. So it is very important for them to be very aware about what is the pulse on the ground, and that can come very very effectively if they engage with primary market research teams. So the idea is to have as in a short term is to do a very thorough research before making or taking any decision. And then ultimately once the studies are being conducted, look at where the client can have a very targeted acquisition, or could scout for short opportunities, small based opportunities which the client could partner with, and could begin their business. The second is midterm goal. So the business midterm goal is to develop a business model over it. Having said that, the short term goal needs to be like a lot of pivot testing, lot of it should be about trying to test the water, see what's working, what's not working. The midterm goal needs to be to make sure how can it be converted into a good business model, like how the money is coming in, how the operations are being handled, to give it a structure so that once we have a business model in place, we can give it certain kind of scale and improve the operationality and like that. So that should be the part of midterm goal. The third is long term goal. In order to establish itself as a leading global player, it needs to very strongly look at the profitability part of it and also growth, because these are two key factors which are going to help the company in the long run. That is profitability, because if it's not profitable, then then it cannot then adequate amount of scale will not come, and if scale is not there, this business is not going to thrive too much. So the idea is to, in order to have a growth, we need to chase profitability, get the profit, and invest that again into the business, and uh, present this as a leading global market. Because also, when I say it's important to be profitability, because since it's kind of a luxury no a luxury business, like people who are coming are kind of high paying customers. So if they're feeling this is not worth of their taste, they are not going to commit again, they'll go somewhere else, and it's Dubai, the place with all the riches and luxury. So it's very important that we need to spend right amount of money for, so that the customer is getting the right experience. But at the same time, we should make sure that we are not going over the board when it comes to spending and making the experience good for the customers. That should be the part.
So having already discussed about the three phase manner, I'll be discussing about the strategies. So the first strategy which I already talked about is we need to go for market analysis, and is to do market analysis, and while doing market analysis we need to make sure that we are paying as much attention to primary research as we do to secondary market research. And when I say primary market research, we need to uh, take feedbacks and on ground business views and perspectives from directly from the villa owners to the customers who come to the villa directly. And we should also make sure that whatever the conversation which we are having with them, we are also in sync with the top level executives of the conglomerate as well, so that whatever the feedbacks which we are getting from them, same can be comprehended and can be communicated to the senior management, so that everybody in the senior management could be in sync and could keep on evaluating and better assessing this new market opportunity. Uh, the second is acquisition target identification. So, having already said that we will be focusing on doing primary market research, and I'll which is done in order to understand this business better. At the same time, we should be also uh, keeping a scout on which are the small players which are doing good in this field, and how can we have a possible strategic collaboration with them, or we can, or if feasible, then if we can acquire them, then that could also be one of the considerations. So that second is acquisition target identification. Even if we are not going to acquire them immediately, but we can like keep them on the checklist and could acquire look forward to acquire them in some time in the future. So the idea is here is to look at the strategic partnerships in locations um, which are promising in this market domain. The third one is already the part of the first one, the feasibility study. So the idea is here is to understand this business model and to study how strong if this particular market, this particular modus, this particular operation could be uh, turned into a business. So we need to understand the financial aspect of it. Operation, what's the operational cost? What are the market viability of acquiring new targets and acquiring the small startups and then converting into brand villa and then renting and them out. So the idea is here to study the business model of this domain. Fourth is value proposition development. This is quite unique because this is where we can go and do mistakes. So the idea is here is, well, the customer base which is going to come to us is a high paying customer, a high earning customer, is a high net worth individual. And what are they looking for is they're looking for a very distinctive, unique, good experience, and there's a plenty of options for them in Dubai. So we need to make sure that if we really want to retain the customer and make the customer a loyal customer, then we need to offer them a very distinct, unique experience, and we should be definitely putting some amount of our profits back into the service of customers, so that whatever experience which we are crafting for them, it should have a very unique value addition. So that's important. And at the same time, we need to also be making sure that we should not go overboard while spending on creating this unique value proposition. Sixth is operational integration scalability framework. So having said that, it is important if we really want to give this business scale, then we need to have appropriate amount of appropriate amount of money which should come from profit, which needs to be again get back spent back in the business. So that can happen in a very seamless manner only when we are very clear, when we have a very streamlined framework in place where all the distinct positions know what their roles and responsibility are. When we have a very streamlined property management department, a customer service department, a marketing department, so every department should work seamlessly in a cohesive collaborative manner, and it should have a very flat line structure so that everybody could remain in sync, and there is no like a very top level hierarchy where everybody, when if one has a query or a grievance, then they have to write so many mails to reach out to the top. It should not be like that. It some should be very flat like structure where anybody could reach out to anybody, like open door policy. So the idea is to achieve a very streamlined facility so that we can achieve operational proficiency. Talking about implementation roadmap, so we year one should be the year where we are doing this, where we are doing the primary market research to understand the market, and this should be done in sync with with top level executives so that they could themselves develop understanding of this market, and at the same time look at the acquisition, possible good acquisition, small players which we could potentially acquire or could um, engage with them in long-term partnership. And the third is to initiate the market entry procedure. Once we have appropriate studies in place and appropriate partners in place, we should finalize upon the market entry strategy and make way into the market. Year two should be the year when we are making sure that how we can give our business scale, how we can improve the operations, how we can streamline the functions between different departments. And once we have a very clear framework governance in place, we could give this model a scale and could improve and make this business bit larger. So year two should be the year where we have appropriate business model in place and appropriate operational framework in place. Year three should be the year when we once we know how we can operate in the way. The idea is how we can go and replicate the same playbook in different other cities in UAE. Maybe it can be Abu Dhabi, or maybe another place like Sharjah, for example, and see if we could if what we have learned in Dubai can we apply it over there or not. And then definitely once we are able to target two three major cities in Dubai, major cities in UAE, we could take up this same model and we could do this the same thing in some other part of the world. So the strategy leverages conglomerates expertise and resources to establish a strong foothold in lucrative villa rental market while ensuring sustainable growth.